Earth faces the Empire. Humanity delivers a stern warning here as part one of the story, written in third person, simple and basic English, with no headings or special formatting, and no banned names. The first sign of the Empire came quietly. A deep space listening station beyond Pluto picked up the signal first. It was not a message in any human language. It was a tight, ordered pattern, cold and precise, repeating every 12 seconds. The station's systems flagged it as artificial. Within minutes, alerts moved across human networks. Within hours, every major government on Earth knew the same thing. Something powerful was coming. Captain Alex Morgan stood on the command deck of an orbital defense ship as the reports came in. He was calm, but his jaw was tight. Alex had spent his life in space. He had trained for wars with other humans, for accidents, for disasters. He had never trained for this. The object was massive. It was not a single ship, but many ships moving as one. They entered the solar system at a point far beyond Neptune. They did not hide. They did not rush. They moved with confidence, like a ruler walking into a room they already owned. On Earth, cities kept moving. People went to work. Children went to school. But screens everywhere carried the same news. A foreign fleet, unknown origin, unknown intent. In a council chamber built under the Rocky Mountains, leaders gathered in person for the first time in years. Laura Bennett sat among them, hands folded, listening more than speaking. She was a diplomat, chosen not for her loud voice, but for her calm one. She watched the feeds in silence as images of the alien ships sharpened. "They are not exploring," she said at last. "They are arriving," no one argued. 3 days later, the message came. It was translated quickly, not because the Empire made it easy, but because the message was simple. It repeated the same idea in many ways, as if speaking to a child. The Empire announced itself as the rightful ruler of thousands of systems. It declared that Earth now fell within imperial space. Humanity was instructed to surrender all military control beyond its atmosphere. Earth would be allowed to govern itself under supervision. Resistance would be punished. There was no greeting, no curiosity.
No question. Captain Alex Morgan listened to the message aboard his ship.
Around him, officers stood silent. Some were angry. Some were afraid. Alex felt something colder than fear. He felt insulted. "They don't even know us," one officer muttered. Alex nodded. "They think they do." The Empire fleet slowed near Mars. They stopped just out of range of human weapons. They did not need to move closer. Their presence alone was meant to crush hope. Small human patrol ships were ignored, as if they were insects. When a research station near Jupiter failed to respond fast enough to an Imperial command, it was destroyed with a single shot. No warning.
No apology. The message was clear.
Laura Bennett watched the footage from the station's destruction. She noticed something important. The Empire ship fired once, clean and perfect. It did not adjust. It did not hesitate.
"They are strong," she said to the council.
But they are stiff. They expect obedience, not resistance. Some leaders wanted to fight at once. Others wanted to surrender. Most said nothing at all. While politicians argued, the military prepared. Alex Morgan was given command of a defensive task group, though everyone knew it was small compared to the Empire fleet. Human ships spread out not to attack, but to observe.
Every movement of the Empire was recorded.
Every signal was studied. The Empire did not react. To them, humanity was already defeated. Earth was loud, divided, and weak. The Empire had crushed worlds far stronger. This was only a formality. On Earth, the pressure grew. The Empire sent more messages. Each one was firmer than the last. Deadlines were given. They passed without response. Laura Bennett helped shape humanity's silence. She advised delay, not surrender.
"They want us to speak first," she said. "They want us to beg." Instead, Earth watched and learned.
In a shipyard orbiting the moon, engineer Noah Price worked without sleep. His team was small, and most of their work was secret, even from other humans. The Empire had not noticed the old platforms hidden among mining stations and cargo hubs. They looked useless. They were not. No one knew that if the Empire truly understood human habits, they would have destroyed these sites first. Humans hid strength behind noise. The Empire did not understand that. Pilot Megan Brooks flew test runs far from the main fleet. Her ship was fast, lightly armed, and unstable by Imperial standards. That was the point. She pushed it hard, testing systems built for chaos rather than order. "They won't expect this," she said after one dangerous run. High above Earth, Alex Morgan studied the enemy fleet. He noticed patterns. The Empire ships flew in perfect formations. Commands flowed from the top down. When one ship moved, others followed without question.
"They fight like a machine," he said to his staff. "Machines break when something unexpected happens." The Empire finally lost patience.
An Imperial envoy ship moved closer to Earth orbit. It broadcast a final message. Humanity had one day to comply. Failure would result in the destruction of major population centers, one by one, until surrender was complete. Panic spread across Earth. Markets crashed. Crowds filled the streets. Some people prayed. Others demanded answers. Laura Bennett stood before the world's cameras. She did not shout. She did not threaten. "We have heard the Empire," she said. "We are considering our response." It was the only statement made. In private, plans moved faster. Alex Morgan met with commanders from every human fleet. They knew they could not win a direct fight. That was not the goal.
"We are not trying to beat them today," Alex said.
"We are trying to survive tomorrow." The Empire watched these movements and laughed, if they laughed at all. To them, human ships looked scattered and afraid. Earth looked disorganized. They did not understand human history. They did not know that humans fought best when cornered. They did not know that humans learned quickly from pain. They did not know that humans could turn weakness into bait. As the deadline approached, the Empire fleet powered its weapons. Targeting systems locked onto cities, bases, and stations. Everything was ready. On the command deck, Alex Morgan looked at the stars and thought of home. He did not know if Earth would still stand tomorrow, but he knew one thing: humanity would not kneel quietly. Far away, deep within the Empire fleet, no alarms sounded, no warnings appeared. The Empire believed the war was already over. And that belief would soon cost them dearly. Here is part 2 of the story, continuing smoothly from part 1, written in third person, simple and basic English, with no headings or special formatting. The deadline passed without a human reply. For several long seconds, nothing happened. Then the Empire fleet adjusted its position. Large ships shifted forward with slow purpose. Energy built along their hulls, visible even to simple sensors. To the Empire, this was the final step before punishment. On Earth, alarms rang across cities. People moved into shelters. Some cried. Some stayed silent. Many watched the sky, even though nothing could be seen with human eyes. Captain Alex Morgan stood still on the command deck. His crew waited for his words, but he said nothing yet. His eyes were on a stream of data flowing across the main screen. Behind calm orders and careful delays, humanity had been busy. Hidden platforms powered up across the solar system. Engineer Noah Price watched as systems long believed inactive came alive. These platforms had been built years ago, spread out and disguised as old industrial sites. To outside scans, they looked useless. To humans, they were the backbone of a plan that had never been tested. Noah's hands shook as he entered final commands. Not from fear, but from focus. Everything had to work together. There would be no second chance.
"They still think we are slow," he said quietly to his team.
Let them. Pilot Megan Brooks received her orders while flying far from the main human fleet. Her ship was alone, small, and fast. She was not told everything, only what she needed to know. That was enough.
"Cause confusion," her commander said. "Then get out." Megan smiled.
Confusion was something humans did well. Laura Bennett sat in a silent room as feeds from across the system reached her. She was not giving speeches now. Her work was quieter, slower, and just as dangerous. She helped decide what humanity would show and what it would hide. "They expect fear," she said to the small group around her. "So fear is what we will show, just not in the way they understand." The Empire fired the first true strike. A human listening post near the asteroid belt vanished in a flash of light. The blast was clean, perfect, and terrifying. The Empire broadcast the destruction across open channels, meant for every human to see. This is what happens to those who disobey. Alex Morgan watched the feed. His fists clenched, but his voice stayed steady. "All units," he said. "Hold position." Some officers stared at him in shock. A human station had just been erased, and he was ordering restraint. Alex met their eyes.
This is what they want, he said.
An angry charge. We are not giving them that. The Empire advanced further, convinced that resistance was breaking. Smaller Imperial ships moved ahead of the main fleet, spreading out to enforce control. They expected humans to retreat or scatter. That was when Megan Brooks struck. Her ship burst from behind a field of debris at extreme speed. She did not aim for the strongest target. She aimed for a support vessel, lightly armed and full of command relays. She fired once, then twice, then vanished into the dark before return fire could lock on. The Imperial ship did not explode. It went dark. Inside the Empire fleet, confusion rippled. A ship had fallen silent without warning. That was not supposed to happen. Orders were sent, systems checked. The formation slowed. More human ships appeared, not in force, but in flashes. Quick strikes, false retreats. Long-range probes that looked like attacks but were not. Every move forced the Empire to respond. They began to adjust, but adjustment took time. Commands moved slowly through their rigid structure. Each decision waited for approval from above. Humans did not wait. Noah Price activated the first ring of hidden platforms. Energy fields bloomed in space, invisible to the eye but deadly to sensors. Imperial targeting systems began to lie. Distances felt wrong. Signals bent and echoed. "What is this?" an Imperial commander demanded over internal channels. There was no answer yet.
"Alex Morgan saw the opening."
"All defensive groups," he said. "Begin Phase 1. Human ships moved in ways the Empire did not expect. They did not hold formation. They did not protect the largest ships first. They spread out overlapping fields of fire, supporting one another in messy, flexible patterns. The Empire fired heavy weapons. Many shots missed. Some hit nothing at all. "This is inefficient," one Imperial officer reported. "It is unacceptable," came the reply. Laura Bennett watched reports of the early clashes. Losses were mounting on both sides, but the shape of the fight was changing. The Empire was no longer calm. Messages between their ships grew sharp, urgent. "They are used to control," she said. "We are taking that away." The Empire responded with force. A wave of Imperial ships surged forward, targeting human population centers. They planned to end the resistance with fear. Cities were marked, weapons charged. Alex Morgan's voice cut across every channel. Now. The second layer of humanity's preparation revealed itself. From the shadows of planetary orbits, long dormant defense grids activated. Not shields, but traps. Imperial ships entering certain zones found their systems lagging. Their movement slowed. It was not enough to stop them, but it was enough to disrupt timing. That was fatal. Human ships struck again, harder this time. They focused on communication nodes, supply vessels, and coordination hubs. They did not chase kills. They chased weakness. Megan Brooks flew until her vision blurred. Her ship took damage, alarms screaming, but she stayed on course long enough to draw enemy fire away from a cluster of civilian transports. "They follow the loudest threat," she muttered.
Always.
She broke away at the last second, diving into sensor noise that only humans would risk flying through.
Inside the Empire fleet, order began to crack.
Reports contradicted each other. Ships requested instructions and waited too long. Some commanders acted on their own, breaking formation. Others froze, afraid to make the wrong choice. The Empire had never faced a foe like this. Alex Morgan knew they were still outmatched in raw power. One mistake could cost millions of lives. He did not allow himself to relax. "Keep pressure," he ordered. "Do not let them settle." Noah Price's screens showed rising strain. The platforms were working beyond expected limits. If they failed, the illusion would collapse. "Just a little longer," he whispered. On Earth, people watched the sky feeds with mixed fear and hope. For the first time, the Empire looked unsure. Not defeated, but uncertain. Laura Bennett prepared the next step. Not a message of surrender. Not yet. Something else. "They need to understand this is a choice," she said. "Not a tantrum." The Empire finally pulled back some of its ships, regrouping near Mars. It was a small retreat, but it was real. They had not planned for this. They had not expected humans to last this long. An Imperial command voice filled their fleet. "This species is more dangerous than projected." The answer came after a pause. "Then we will correct the projection."
As the battle slowed, space filled with debris and drifting light.
Human forces regrouped, damaged but alive. The Empire still loomed, massive and threatening, but no longer certain. Alex Morgan looked at the status reports. Humanity had survived the first test. But this was only preparation. The real warning had not yet been delivered. And both sides knew the next phase would decide everything. The Empire did not retreat because it felt mercy. It pulled back because it needed to think. That pause was dangerous. Captain Alex Morgan knew it. He stood on the command deck and watched the enemy fleet regroup near Mars. The Empire's ships moved with care now. Their formations were tighter. Defensive screens stayed active. They had learned that humans were not harmless.
"They will hit harder next time," one officer said.
Alex nodded. "Yes, and they will try to end it fast." Across the system, human ships gathered what strength they had left. Damage reports came in. Some crews were lost.
Some ships would never fly again. But morale was different now.
Humans had stood against the Empire and survived. That mattered. Engineer Noah Price barely noticed the change in mood. He was deep inside the numbers. The hidden platforms were overheating. Some had already burned out. They had done their job, but they could not repeat it forever.
"We can get one more push," he told his team. "After that, we are blind. That has to be enough," someone replied.
Pilot Megan Brooks returned to a carrier for repairs. Her hand shook as she removed her helmet. She had flown closer to death than ever before. Still, when asked if she was ready to go back out, she answered without pause. "Yes." Laura Bennett watched all of this from a secure room. She listened to military updates, but her focus was elsewhere. She was preparing words, not threats, not lies. The truth sharpened. "The Empire thinks in orders and punishment," she said to herself. "We need to show them consequence." The Empire struck again before humans were fully ready. This time, they did not target outposts or empty stations. They aimed at the moon. Imperial weapons fired with terrible force. Human defenses flared to life. Explosions lit space above the lunar surface. Debris scattered like dust.
Alex Morgan reacted instantly. "All units, full response," he said.
Protect the moon at all costs. Human ships surged forward. This was not a probe or a warning. This was an attempt to break humanity's will. The Empire ships advanced in layers. Heavy vessels stayed back, firing long-range weapons. Smaller ships pushed ahead, fast and aggressive. They expected humans to fall back. Instead, humans charged. Megan Brooks led a group of fast attack ships straight into the enemy screen. They did not aim to destroy. They aimed to disrupt. They flew close, too close for comfort, forcing Imperial ships to adjust firing angles. Some human ships were lost. Others slipped through. Alex Morgan used the chaos. He split his forces, sending groups on paths that looked wrong, even reckless. The Empire reacted, shifting resources to counter threats that were not real. Meanwhile, the real strike formed. Noah Price activated the last reserve of the hidden platforms. Power spiked. Space twisted in subtle ways. Imperial sensors screamed warnings that made no sense.
What is happening? An Imperial officer demanded. There was no clear answer.
Human ships appeared where they should not be able to. They fired on key targets deep within the enemy formation. Supply vessels burned. Command relays went silent. The Empire tried to respond, but their structure worked against them. Orders overlapped. Some ships waited too long. Others acted alone. Fear entered the system. Not human fear. Imperial fear. They had never faced an enemy that ignored rules like this. Alex Morgan watched the battle unfold and felt a grim calm. This was the moment humanity had prepared for. Not victory, understanding. "Lara," he said over a secure channel. "It's time." Lara Bennett took a breath. A wideband signal spread across space. It did not target just the Empire fleet. It was sent openly, clearly, in a form that could be recorded and shared. She appeared on screen, standing still, her voice steady. "This is humanity," she said. "You came to our home and demanded obedience. You destroyed our people to make a point." Behind her, images played, not edited for drama. Simple recordings. The destroyed station. The damaged moon base. Human ships breaking apart under fire. "We want you to understand something," she continued. "We did not fight you because we wanted war. We fought because you gave us no choice." The Empire fleet listened. Some tried to block the signal. It did not matter. The message was already spreading. "You believe strength is control," Laura said. "You believe fear creates order. That belief has worked for you before." She paused. "It does not work on us." As she spoke, human forces delivered the final demonstration. Alex Morgan ordered a coordinated strike. Not on the largest ships. Not on symbols of power. On the Empire flagship's outer systems. Carefully chosen. Precise. Human weapons hit. The flagship did not explode. It went dark. Not dead. Disabled. The Empire fleet froze. For the first time since entering the system, their central command was silent. Laura's voice continued. "We could destroy you," she said. "You see that now, but we will not." Imperial ships shifted uneasily. Some powered weapons, others powered down. "This is your warning," she said. "Leave our space. Do not return. If you come again, it will not be a warning." Alex Morgan watched as the Empire ships slowly began to pull back. Not all at once. Not in panic, but in clear retreat. Some human officers wanted to pursue, to finish it. Alex shook his head. No. The Empire needed to leave alive. They needed to remember. As the last shots faded, space fell into an uneasy quiet. Wreckage drifted. Rescue ships moved in. Human losses were heavy, but Earth still stood. Inside the Empire fleet, damaged ships gathered around their wounded flagship. Emergency systems restored limited power. Command voices returned, shaken. "This species is unstable," an Imperial commander said. Another replied, "Slower now." "No. They are disciplined. We misjudged them." Data flowed through Imperial systems. Battle recordings. Tactical failures. Human adaptability. Human restraint. The conclusion was unavoidable. Earth was not weak. It was dangerous. Alex Morgan stood down from combat readiness and finally allowed himself to sit. His body ached. His mind replayed every decision. "We did it," an officer said quietly. "We survived," Alex replied. "That's different." Lara Bennett watched the Empire fleet vanish beyond Mars. She knew the message would spread faster than any human ship. The Empire would talk. Others would listen. Noah Price shut down the last platform. It burned out seconds later, its work done. He leaned back and closed his eyes. Megan Brooks looked at the stars from a viewport, silent. She thought of the ships that did not come back. She also thought of home. Humanity had not won peace, but it had earned something just as important: respect. And far beyond the solar system, the Empire carried that lesson with them, etched into memory, clear and impossible to ignore. The Empire fleet did not jump away all at once. They moved slowly, as if unsure whether they were truly allowed to leave. Damaged ships stayed close together. Escorts flew tight circles, watching every human movement. Even in retreat, the Empire feared a final strike. It never came. Captain Alex Morgan kept human weapons powered down. His ships followed at a distance, not threatening, not friendly, just present.
"Let them go," he said.
They've seen enough. Across the solar system, the battle ended not with cheers but with long silence. On Earth, people waited. Newsfeeds showed drifting wreckage, damaged ships, and the empty space where the Empire fleet had been. At first, many thought it was a trick. Then hours passed. Then a full day. The Empire did not return. Crowds gathered in streets and open fields. Some cried, some laughed, some simply stood still, staring at the sky. Humanity was alive. Laura Bennett watched the reaction from a quiet room. She felt no urge to speak again. Her message had been sent, recorded, and already shared far beyond human space. What mattered now was what came next.
"They will talk about this," she said softly. "Empires always do." Captain Alex Morgan returned to Earth days later.
His ship landed at a coastal base under heavy guard. He walked down the ramp tired and unsteady. He was greeted not as a hero, but as a witness. He had seen what humanity could become. In a hospital near the landing site, Megan Brooks lay in a recovery bed. Her injuries were minor compared to others, but the exhaustion ran deep. Alex visited her quietly. "You flew like hell," he said. She gave a weak smile. "They followed me every time. That saved lives." She looked away.
"I just did my job," Alex did not argue. Humans like her were the reason Earth still stood.
Far from the public eye, engineer Noah Price sat before a review board. He explained the platforms, the risks, the cost. He did not exaggerate. He did not hide the truth.
"They are gone now," he said. "Burned out or destroyed.
We can rebuild, but it will take time." One official asked, "Was it worth it?" Noah answered without pause. "Yes. Beyond human space, the Empire limped home. Their flagship survived, barely. Systems were restored piece by piece. Records of the battle were locked, copied, and analyzed. Every failure was examined. Every human tactic replayed. The conclusion was shared at the highest levels. Earth was not a prize. Earth was a warning. Imperial analysts noted something even more disturbing than human weapons. Humans had chosen not to finish the fight. They had shown restraint when they did not have to. That made them unpredictable. Other species within the Empire began to hear whispers. Not from humans, but from Imperial officers. Stories spread of a small world that refused to kneel, that fought like chaos itself, and then stopped. The question echoed quietly. Why? On Earth, life slowly returned to normal. Repairs began. Stations were rebuilt. Names of the dead were spoken with care. Historian Caleb Wright was given access to battle logs, messages, and recordings. His task was simple and heavy. He was to record what happened, not as legend, but as fact. He worked in silence for weeks.
"This was not a victory parade," he wrote. "It was a lesson in survival."
He described the Empire's arrival, their certainty, their mistake. He described human fear, human delay, human patience. He wrote about Alex Morgan's calm, Laura Bennett's words, Megan Brooks's flight, and Noah Price's hidden work. Most of all, he wrote about choice. Humanity had chosen not to submit. Humanity had chosen not to destroy. That balance became the core of the story. Laura Bennett addressed the world one final time months later. Reconstruction had begun. New defenses were discussed openly now. Humanity would not hide again. "We are not alone," she said. and we are not helpless. She did not speak of revenge. She did not speak of conquest. We will defend our home, she said. That is all. In the years that followed, probes from distant systems approached human space. They did not cross borders. They watched. They listened. No Empire ship ever returned. Instead, messages came. Careful ones. Curious ones. Respectful ones. Humanity answered slowly. Captain Alex Morgan retired from command. He took a quiet post-training future officers. He taught them one lesson above all others.
Never assume the enemy thinks like you, he said, and never assume you must become them to win. Megan Brooks returned to flight.
She flew test ships now, pushing limits, smiling in the cockpit. Space felt different to her. Less empty. Less quiet. Noah Price led a new program. This time, there were no hidden platforms. Humanity no longer needed to hide its strength, and far away, deep within Imperial space, the Battle of Earth was taught in warning halls. Not as a failure of power, but as a failure of understanding. Earth had faced the Empire, and the Empire had learned. Some worlds are not conquered. Some worlds stand.